I believe that I have a lot to offer to the City Council. The main thing that I will promise the City of Decatur is I will work for change. I'm going to work to change the trash pickup system, get rid of parking meters, work to bring industry and business to Decatur, and lower taxes.
Okay.
Well, as I started with, as I said in the opening, I think I bring a slightly different perspective to the City Council. And also, as I said in the beginning, I like everybody here, and I respect every one of the City Council members. I think I've been watching the process, and I've been part of the process for a long enough period of time that I think I could be a pretty effective City Council person and still bring that fresh perspective. Really, that's it. I just want this job. This is a great opportunity. It's a great time for the city, and there are challenges. But you either rise to a challenge or you duck and cover. Now's the time to rise.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I believe that serving on the City Council is a commitment to community service. And I was born and raised in Decatur, attended Decatur Public Schools, graduated Millikan, been involved in a lot of community boards. And from the time I got out of the JCs, I believed that the leadership training was through community service. And I've done that for the last 40 years on lots of different things. And I think that the perspective that I have by serving on the boards and knowing the people that I work with will help me be sensitive to the needs of the community. And if reelected, I'll strive to keep the positive momentum that we have going with the council that we have now. And the council, the mayor, and the city manager are working really well together and are helping make Decatur a better place to live and work. And I want to be a part of that.
I think I've been on the council for 12 years now, and I think that experience is invaluable going forward. We've been through some rough times, and we've held the line on taxes. In fact, when I came on board in 1999, our tax rate was $1.37 per hundred, and in 2011 we have it pegged at 1.22. So that's a 10% decrease in the tax rate in the time that I've been on the council. So I'm fiscally responsible. We need to keep an eye on the budget. But we also have a lot of exciting things going forward for the community. I think that the downtown redevelopment, getting the trucks off of the thoroughfares and getting them out of downtown and onto the edge of downtown, I think is a positive. The lakefront development we've talked about, I think that's very, very important for us as we go forward. And I also believe that as we begin redeveloping and working with neighborhoods and making sure we have a major focus on improving the neighborhoods in the community. We spend a lot of money on tearing down buildings. I would rather put that money to work with other programs to help improve the neighborhoods rather than having to tear down buildings that other people have just abandoned. So I'd like to see some sort of a change there. I know another focus that the city manager has in this budget that we've helped him direct him on is to focus more on the neighborhoods and those types of things. So I want to see this redevelopment start and mushroom out from the center of the city. So I think that I'd like to see some of those things through to the end. So
thank you. I'm a Decatur native, raised here, went to Millikan, came back to practice law and be closer to my family. And I, along with other young people, are the future of Decatur. No no disrespect to any of the city council people, but, you know, I'm gonna be here in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And that's what I'm concerned about. People, you know, people staying here, young people believing in this community enough to stay here. And that's the perspective I'm gonna be putting forth. Now, I'm also concerned, you know, I'm wanting to see, you know, further economic growth in this area. I agree with the general consensus, it seems right now, to revitalize downtown. But I'm also interested in seeing those neighborhoods that are currently struggling a little bit, seeing some economic growth in those neighborhoods. In my estimation, we can put together some micro enterprise zones, develop those elements in those struggling neighborhoods. In addition, I'd like to see further development of the foreign trade zone. It's my understanding, after having talked to a few people, and specifically an international finance professor who's a consultant here in the Decatur area, you know, his experience has said, you know, these foreign trade zones are usually fought after tooth and nail, and we only have one company currently using it. I'd like to see that marketed more towards other companies that could create some jobs here in the area. You know, in addition to that, I've talked with Keith Alexander at the water department. It's my understanding that you know, if we are to be more attractive to the bigger non-retail jobs that we are looking for Craig Coyle to rein in, we need to have some more water capacity. That's something that I'm thinking about needing, that we should have a tool, we should have that tool in our toolkit when Craig is out there talking to people. I'd like to look into that a little bit more. That is something that is something I would like to look at a little bit more. What I would just say that I'm going to come to this council with fresh eyes, and that's why you should vote for me.
When I graduated from high school, a lot of my friends talked about where they're going to move to when they graduated from high school. Not too many people talked about coming back to Decatur. And I was one of the few that actually talked about coming back to Decatur, even in high school. One of the things is that I always wanted to work at Chick Clinic, which is where I'm working at now. Which is another reason people are like, why do you really want to work there? But the thing is, I've always been about trying to help people. That's why I was in the military. That's why I became a physician. That's why I'm an elder in my church. It's about service. And that's why I'm on city council now. One of the more selfish reasons is I have a 7-month-old son. And when my son gets ready to graduate, I want him to stay here in Decatur. I don't want him to look for greener pastures other places. I want him to stay right here with mommy. I even had one of my patients, a 4-year-old, ask me, they said, why is a doctor running for city council? And I want to make Decatur better. It's simple. We are a wonderful community. And I think far too often we don't see our potential. We're doing a lot of talk as far as the neighborhoods, as far as beautification and how run down they've gotten. Those neighborhoods that we're talking about, those are the neighborhoods that I grew up in. My street has a lot of vacant houses on it, the street that I grew up on. And it is very desolate. And it doesn't have to be that way. And you don't have to live in those neighborhoods and feel impoverished and feel like there is no hope for you and that this is all that I have. If we can bring a sense of hope by making the neighborhoods look better, by just improving the surrounding, then that can really change people's perspective. I don't know if if you live in a house that is messy and junky all the time, you feel horrible. And once your house is clean, your whole outlook changes. I'm one of those type of people. I don't know if it's just my ADD type of personality or whatever, but I like a clean house. And when my house is clean, I feel good. I feel like I have things in order. The same thing is for our environment. When our environment is clean, when our neighborhoods are clean, we feel good. We can take pride in where we live at and to a certain degree, actually feel like anything is possible. And that's the type of hope that I want to bring to people. And yes, as a city council person, it's not that I'm directly doing it, but I can be a role model for people. I can be someone that they can look up to and say, Dr. Ray, if you can live, in the inner city and you can go off and go to medical school and you can get involved in our community and make it better, then you know what, I can do the same thing. So that's my little selfish reason for why I want to be on city council.